One of my very favorite features is Autopilot, and so the way it works is it's going to use your location to automatically find the store nearby. I'm just going to allow it. So that's senior assistant that we talked about before. It's geolocating me as soon as I press that button, and then it's pulling in the database. So it's checking all the cards and offers, and it's telling you your very best card to use at the location closest to you. And you can just leave this running on your lock screen. It'll run for up to 8 hours, and as you're moving around, like say you're shopping, going to a grocery store, then you're grabbing a Starbucks and then going somewhere else. As you arrive at each of those places, you can just look on your lock screen and it's going to tell you what card to use based on your best card or offer there.
Hey there, points people. You just heard a clip from Emmanuel from Card Pointers. Emmanuel has been in the points and miles game for more than 10 years, and he started Card Pointers more than 5 years ago. He was actually one of the first people that I interviewed on the podcast, and I am so excited to welcome him back today. In this episode, expect to hear about how Card Pointers can help you make the most out of your credit card annual fees, the different feature sets for iPhone versus Android users, how you can double dip into lucrative credit card bonus offers, and so much more. And if you are in the market for a new card so that you can earn points and travel like Emmanuel, check out geobreezetravel.com/cards. And if you're not sure what card is right for you, I offer free credit card consultations at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. We will send you personalized recommendations based on your particular travel goals, budget, and lifestyle. And now, on with the show. Welcome to the GeoBreeze Travel Podcast, a show for anyone wanting to level up their travel hacking lifestyle. I'm your host, Julia Menez. I'm a travel hacker, coach, speaker, Filipino-American ENTJ who loves solid travel gear and using shortcuts on spreadsheets. On this show, I'm on a mission to bring you travel hackers from all walks of life to help you level up your travel hacking game. We dive into credit cards, miles, points, strategy, mindset, and the secrets behind how to travel the world for next to no cost. So, let's get hacking. Hey, Emmanuel, welcome back to the GeoBreeze Travel Podcast.
Hi, Julia. Great to see you again, and excited to be back. It's been a few years.
It has been a few years. I think you were episode like 19 or something way back when. I'm like an OG user of card pointers. I've been using this app probably since like a few months after it launched, and still one of my top recommendations for different apps to use for people trying to level up in the points game. But for anybody who has never heard of card pointers before, kind of tell us a little bit about the background and what this app can do.
Sure. So yeah, I started Card Pointers back in 2019, so just past the 5 year mark a little bit ago. The originally when I launched it, it was had one core purpose, which was help people figure out which card to use to maximize the points that they earn on all of their spend. So that was really the core feature set for like the first year. Then I branched out as the pandemic hit in 2020. I realized instead of earning more points, a lot of people probably want to save a lot of money, and so that led me down the path of adding in standard credits that you get on your cards, help people track all of those to make sure they save money that way. And then it's expanded to auto adding Amex, Chase, and 4 other banks offers automatically. And that's proven to be a really compelling use case for folks because they're saving on average almost $1,000 a year just by auto adding their offers and using those 3 card pointers. So that's been a big focus of the app in the last few years.
Yeah, one of the main use cases that I usually recommend this app for is whenever anybody is like, okay, but now that I've got 5 or 6 credit cards, how do I know which one to use? Card Pointers is great for that because you don't have to memorize all of the different bonus categories and everything like that. You just plug it into Card Pointers and it says, oh, are you trying to buy office supply stores? Use Chasing Business Cash or something. So, which of these features come with the free version versus the paid version? And if you want, you can kind of do a demo for us and walk through here's what you get with the paid version versus the free version for anybody who just wants to do the free trial first and check out what they can do with card pointers to help them maximize and level up their points.
Sure. Let me share my screen and I'll show quick setup steps and then we can kind of go over what's included and what's paid. All right. Hopefully that's coming through. Okay.
Perfect.
So I'll go ahead and I'll just sign up for a new account. User could, so most users, this is showing the Apple app. I build each app separately for each platform. So I focus fully on each platform for a few months. This is Card Pointer 6 that I just launched in September. The Android version is coming up next, so that will be out in the next few months as soon as that's done. And they both have an Apple, it's a continue with Apple button. In the Android app, it's sign in with Google. So it's a one tap to create an account and you're in. For this demo purpose, I'm just going to skip that. It's easier in the simulator. And I'm just going to create a new account. So it just pre-fills some dummy information I'm going to put in there. Give it a second to sync everything back up. And as soon as it does, it's going to pull up the add card screen. So that's where everybody's going to start after they create an account. And this is super easy. You literally just tap on each card that you want to add to your account. I'm going to pick a few sample ones here. You can just select different cards this way. There's no bank logins or anything like that. It's just card names, and you can even filter by any of the banks. I support over, I think it's 800 or 900 banks, 5,000 plus credit cards. So I've got this crazy database that covers pretty much everybody. And you can also then search by like a name here if you want. So I'll type in like platinum, and we can add like the platinum business card. And then once I've added all my cards here, I'm adding 6 cards, for instance. I'll just click on continue, confirm that's all my cards that I've added for now. You can always add more cards at any time if you want.
So, yeah, in case anybody missed that, you don't have to give it any bank login passwords or anything. You just checkbox all of the different cards that you want to add in, which is fantastic because I think everybody's so paranoid these days, like for a good reason, that things get hacked and people can get access to your bank logins and passwords. But you don't have to do that here. You just checkbox, these are the cards I have, which is great.
Yep, definitely. And that's been a part of Card Pointer since the beginning. And so I've been a programmer for way too long. Since I was like about 5 is when I got into computers, and
Did you
I'm
say
getting pretty
five?
old now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Started at 5. My dad had a home office, and I like to go upstairs and play with the computer. So go figure, like an old IBM PC and like Macintosh SC, those really early days.
All right.
Yeah, I know. But now I'm into points and miles, so I'm putting that to good use. So two hobbies. But yeah, like you said, for sure, that's from the beginning. That was very intentional. The best security is to never have anything that would put users at risk. So that's why I never collect bank logins. I never have anything sensitive. All of the advanced features, which I'll show some of today, like location information, the extension that recommends what cards to use on sites. All that stuff stays on device and it never leaves your device. So that way, there's no risk at all. There's no invasion of privacy. Everything's always safe. So it's a very very big proponent of everything that I've built in card pointers.
If somebody has multiples of the same card, like I have multiples of each of the Chase Ink cards, how do you track that in card pointers?
Yeah, so you can add multiple cards, and to your point, you asked about free versus the pay tier. So the free tier, you can add one of any card. If you want to add two or more of the same card, that's going to be a Card Pointers Plus feature, which does require either an annual or a lifetime membership. And there is a lifetime option as well, so that's always good to know too. But you could add another card by just going to the Cards tab, clicking plus, add my cards, and then here you could just select the second one here. We'll add like another Freedom Flex, and it would add it no problem as long as you're a Card Pointers Plus member.
Fantastic.
All right. So, quick run through. So, after you've added your cards, the app right away knows a lot of information just based on the types of cards that you have. So, here, Pointers is one of the main tabs, and it's going to sort all of your credit cards across 18 different broad categories and thousands of different merchants. So, here, for instance, if I click on airline, it knows that my Platinum business card has an airline credit of $200. So, as I use that, I can just drag the slider to track that as I use it throughout the year, and you can even like tap and hold on. You can add an amount or set an amount used. Lots of little shortcuts there, and you can even swipe actions to take actions on the offers. But more importantly, besides just the offers, it's automatically sorting all of your credit cards by their best earnings. So here, for instance, the Platinum Business is a little tricky, right? So like the Amex Platinum gives you 5x at any airline purchase. Platinum Business does not. That's only on when you book through the Amex travel site, for instance. So here it's recommending my Amex Gold, for instance, because that's earning 3x points at a default point value of 2 cents. So it's ranking all of my different credit cards in order based on the category awards, just from the card names.
So this will sort by the total value, which takes into account the number of points you earn for that purchase, as well as the valuation of each point, because not all points are created equal. How do you decide the valuation to assign?
Yeah, so I picked a starting value that makes sense for most folks, but that is definitely a very subjective thing. And you can always change that in the app. So if you tap on the card, you can actually then go to category bonuses and you can change the point value right there to whatever makes sense to you.
Oh, that's amazing. Where if someone's like, well, I'm usually getting at least 3 cents per point out of like Chase or Amex or whatever, that's really cool that you can just assign your own point value because I know people fight about like what is the value of a Hyatt point or Hilton point all the time. Just change it if you don't believe these values.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a subjective thing. I've had that since the early version, so you could always do that yourself. So that's the main thing for pointers. If we go back to here, version 5, which I added last year, it can optionally use your location to automatically show you a map of nearby stores. So this is, I put in a geolocation of San Francisco just so it had more interesting content. But if you zoom in, you can actually see all the different stores. Senior Sisig is a Mexican restaurant in San Francisco that's really good.
That is a Filipino thing, right?
Oh, sorry, it's not Mexican. Yes, yes, yes. Good call. Good call.
I was like, "That's a Filipino restaurant." I was very excited, that was the first thing that came up. I was like, "Oh, Señor Sisig."
I think it's the senor that threw me off. So that's why I just assumed it was Mexican. But yeah, I think you're spot on.
Probably mixed, it's probably, like, Filipino Mexican food, there's a lot of crossover.
Whatever it is, it's good. So it doesn't really matter to me as long as it's good. And you can, view any stores like Trader Joe's. You can tap on that, and it's going to show you that MX Gold card earns 4x points there. So that would be the card to use there, etc. You can also get a list of those nearby stores by just tapping on this little button right here for nearby, and it's going to show you just a list of all the stores. And same thing, it's going to factor in any offers or credits that you have on your cards, as well as your category bonuses, and just tell you what card to use there right away. So you know which one is correct to earn the most. And then there's the offers tab. And this is the same thing. It's going to pull in all the credits that it knows automatically. So it knows on the platinum business, there's an Indeed credits that I think is every, is it monthly, quarterly? I think it is. If we tap on that, actually, it'll tell me. Yeah, once per quarter. So there's an Indeed credit. I have $90 left on that. You can track the rotating categories, like on the Freedom Flex, the Discover card, a few other cards that have categories that change all the time. This is the best way to help keep track of that. You can track here. Freedom Flex is earning 5x at gas stations and EV charging and live entertainment right now. So same thing. You can track it right there in the offers tab. It makes it really easy to keep track of your offers and make sure you're making the most of your annual fees on cards. And in other cases, when you just have credits on free cards, even better, it's free money. So it's great to maximize all those.
Is there a way like, with that Indeed credit on the American Express Platinum Business Card, I never use it. It's not how I hire people. I just hire people by doing a post on Instagram saying I'm hiring. Is there a way to just be like, "Don't show me this notification anymore. I'm never gonna use this particular credit," or to have certain credits, like, sort near the top because I'm more interested in those? Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, so you can't so you can do a few things. You can snooze an offer if it's something you're not interested in right now, but you might be like in a week or a month's time. You just snooze it, and that'll actually make it disappear from the active list, and it would bring it back. It'll service it back up later on. You can also delete the offer if you wanted. If you swipe left, there's a delete option, which will delete it. It will delete it just for that quarter. If you want to delete it permanently, I've had a few users request that. I haven't built a system out for that yet, but it is on my radar, so I might have a system to do that in the future. To address your second point, what you can do is you can favorite offers though. So like if I love this dining credit, I can just swipe to the right, favorite, and then I can actually view just my favorited offers by clicking on that favorites tab. So it's going to show, and I can do that for anything, for standard credits, for targeted offers. I can favorite all the ones that are most important to me, and I can filter most of the views in the app by just those favorited offers.
How does this track targeted offers if we don't give it any financial information?
Yep. So that's the extension. Maybe we can jump forward to it now, or I'll show it in a few minutes. But that's all done through the browser extension. So that comes with the iPhone, iPad, and Mac app, and will run in Safari on your device. And there's also a Chrome version that will run on any PC. It also runs on Android with specific browsers. The Edge and Dolphin browsers support Chrome extensions. And Google has not added support for mobile Chrome yet. Who knows what reason? Probably for ad money. But hopefully, eventually, Google will fold and do support extensions on the web as well. But the way that works is it's making a direct connection between your browser and the bank servers. It's not going through card pointers first, and then you can optionally sync all of the offers that you've added through the extension to card pointers after the fact. So it'll do that automatically by default. And again, it's not storing your bank logins. It's not even using them in any ways. It's only kicking in after you've logged into the bank sites. So that's how I protect users there.
Very cool.
In the cards tab, showing a quick summary of all the credit cards that you have, the main bonuses. You can click in on any of these and you can see a few things. You can set your approval dates. You can see the offers that are assigned there right away. You can see all the features of the credit cards. And these, of course, are all updated automatically. So as these change, I do the heavy lifting of updating the cards and the card bonuses and the quarterly categories, and those will just be updated automatically inside of the app afterwards. You can set your approval dates, just choose that. And there's a few other shortcut buttons right here, which are really useful. 524 status. A lot of people are are tracking that to know when they can apply for new chase cards, since those bonuses are particularly lucrative and those points are worth a lot. And so there's a 524 status button that you can click on, and it's actually going to pull in and use the dates that you've added to your cards, and it can automatically calculate that for you, which is really nice.
If you don't enter in a date, how does it know your 5 over 24 status?
Yep, if it doesn't, it'll say right here, some cards are missing approval dates. So then you'd go in and then you'd set the correct approval date. So whatever, pick July 10th, and then it'll save it into there. Then it'll factor it into it. You can see it's updated the dates. So this is a good way to remind you to just put in those approval dates. I'm actually working on an interesting integration that will pull in even more approval dates automatically. It's probably a year out or so by the time that's live, but I'm excited to share more about that in the future. And it would change the whole onboarding process. So it'd be one tap, add all your cards automatically. Some really neat stuff. But yeah, more on that one later. The other thing you can do is when you use the extension with Amex, it will also sync over approval dates. So when it gets to that part, if you were to add your cards or sync your offers that way, it will update your approval dates automatically. But for other banks, you'd have to update them in the app. And the best way to get that in general, you can look on like an app like Credit Karma or Credit Report will have the month. Generally, the day doesn't really matter. You're just looking for the month for 524 purposes. So you don't have to be exact there. If it's more than 2 years old, then most cards really don't matter. So you can just put in whatever date, or you can also just ask customer service at any of the banks, and they'll tell you what date you opened it if you want to be precise there.
Nice. Can you go back to where it shows all of the different credits that you have on your cards? So, one of the most valuable ones, I think, are the hotel credits that come with like World of Hyatt card, Marriott Bonvoy Boundless, things like that. How does this know when your expiration date will be? Because that's often based off of just, you just have to type in the anniversary of the card date. Because with Hyatt, like category 1 through 7 certificates, when you hit globalist, that would be 6 months after hit 60 nights. So how could this app possibly know when that expiration date is gonna be?
Yeah, if you need to change dates, so it will populate automatically based on those standard offers. But what you could do afterwards is you can tap on an offer, and you can always change the start date and the end date, and so that will update automatically, and then it'll keep that cadence moving forward.
Under the card offers, is there a way to sort by which one is worth the most money approximately? Especially, like,
Mhm.
for the hotel ones, how do you know, like how to know, like, how much a category 1 through 4 Hyatt is worth?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes the valuation is kind of hard to figure out, but there is you can filter and sort offers by a ton of different ways. Version 6 adds a way to sort by just specific cards. If you want to see just offers for like the Amex Gold card, you could do that now. But to answer your question, we switch back to all cards. We can sort by value. And it's going to sort by the most valuable ones first, which in this case, I don't have the high card and stuff added, but it's going to filter by the airline credit, Dell credit, showing those first, and the clear credit, etc. And that would work too for any targeted offers.
Since this does the math on which card has the best earnings on a particular category like dining or travel or something like that, how do you code the build card into this where you get double points, but just 1 day per month?
Yep. So that's programmed in. So it's just for the first day of the month. It'll automatically show what the maximum is, and that's actually changing. I think it's next month to double check, but that's coded in already. So once they reduce the maximum spends and the maximum points you can get there on the first of the month, that will show in the app, and that offer is going to show just for that day. So that way, to help make sure and encourage you to do that. The one thing it doesn't do is help you remind you to use it 5 times in the month. That would be good to add as an offer. So I do plan to do that. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But for those built bonuses on the first day of the month, yeah, that's covered through the offers. That's available just that day. And there's also the final tab is search, and then this you can just search for anything you want. So like I'll search for like global entry. It's gonna pull up right away that there are offers. There's even a pointer for global entry where I can see all of the cards that have global entry offers or related offers, and I can just drill right into the offer and stuff right there in the search. I could favorite it right there if I wanted to as well, for instance. But this is really powerful. So if you're searching for some perk that you know you have, like say like Grubhub, like you know you've got something that saves you money on Grubhub, but you don't remember where. You just search for Grub, for instance, and it shows up right away. It's my Amex Gold card for. Is that changing? I can't remember if that one changes, but yeah, it shows right away the credit there, and it would also show it in the pointers as well.
A lot of people ask which of my cards have good trip protections or like, hey, something got canceled or delayed on a flight, what can be done? And I usually tell people you could go to the airline first, but your credit card might be better for paying out those different claims. How can somebody use card pointers to figure out these are your trip protections that you have on your different cards?
Yeah, so those I call those soft benefits. One of the ways I plan to integrate that further is inside of pointers. For now, what I would recommend, if you search for like cancellation, it'll show right away the Sapphire Preferred and Freedom Flex have cancellation protection. Which, if you drill into that, it's going to show like the basics about that. So yeah, like here it doesn't show a ton of details on that one, but it shows that you do have cancellation trip insurance. So yeah, that's one thing I'm going to continue to further grow into an upcoming version. So those soft benefits are categorized probably as pointers and then breaks down more information there to help users in that case, especially when you don't have much time and you need to rebook a flight or something. Yeah, the last thing you want to be doing is wasting time going on websites trying to dig through those things. So definitely would be beneficial.
When somebody is like, "Hey, do any of my cards have TSA PreCheck credits or something like that?" And let's say they've only got a couple cards, and the answer is no. Unfortunately, they don't have any cards with TSA PreCheck, and then they're searching for that using the search feature. Does this also say, "Consider these other cards which have what you're looking for"?
So it does for some things, not for those standard credits. That's a good idea. So I'm going to make a note of that. If you search for targeted offers, like for specific merchants, it will service known offers. So here it's saying that there is a 3% back deal. That's a city merchant offer that you could have. And then if you drill into like the Amex offer, for instance, zone show City card. I don't think I didn't choose any new city cards when I added it. So it'll say find a new card to use with this offer, and then that will actually populate city cards to help you apply for a card that could have an offer. So that same similar system could be used for what you just described. So yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's great because a lot of people are just like, I don't want to drill into all the benefits of my card. I'm just looking for a specific benefit. Usually it's TSA PreCheck or global entry credits, or if they're in a panic, what are the trip protections? Which of my cards has trip delay or trip interruption? Hopefully, no accidental death and dismemberment. That'd be horrible. But like, it's you could search for that to be like, hey, just in case like this goes real south, it's in there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's a good idea. One thing it does do is if you're like in a pointer, you want to find like a better drugstore card. There, you can go into the more button and click on card recommendations, and it's going to show you all of the cards with the best earnings for credit cards. Here, it's showing why Walgreens will actually earn 10x points back on Walgreens purchases specifically. There's a way to find recommended cards that way. So, for what you described, it would be another great use case.
Does this have a way to recommend stacking different benefits? Like you just looked up drugstores, and it might have some cards that earn better points for drugstores. But does this say anywhere like link that card up to your free built app too? Because you can get extra points and double dip with the built app, but also whichever credit card that just recommended.
Yeah, not yet. That is a good idea as well. Another thing I want to integrate too is for shopping portals. So you could help show stacking opportunities, like with Rakuten, for instance. That's one of the things that's on my radar that I'm planning to work on soon as well. So yeah, for sure, that makes a lot of sense, and definitely encourage people to double, triple stack whenever they can, and maximize those earnings.
Does this also tell you which statuses that you get with different cards? Like, I think you loaded the MX Platinum in there, which comes with Marriott Gold and Hilton Gold, and some people just forget to connect it to their Marriott or something like that when they first log on. Does this also tell you what statuses you get with different card offers?
Yes, it does. It doesn't remind you to actually like to activate them. For ones that have like offers, for instance, that do require activation of the bill credit, for instance, it will actually say enrollment required. And then there's actually a website. I think there's a website link. Maybe there isn't. For some offers, there would be a website link to take you to the right spot so you could activate it. For the memberships, that will be included in the features. I think it's in there somewhere. Yeah, it should normally be in the list of features for cards as well. And so one of the big new features for Card Pointer 6 is the multiple user profiles. Had a lot of user requests for this. Being in general in our hobby, I don't know if you find the same to be the case, Julia, but in general, the person speed 2 is not into points and miles nearly as much as we are. So this is a way to kind of solve that problem so they don't have to worry about it, but they can still make sure they use the right card all the time. So maybe I'll save some marriages. I don't know, fingers crossed, but we'll see. So
There is no way I'm getting my P2 to download this. All I can do is get all of you wonderful people on the internet who watch these YouTube videos or listen to these podcasts to hopefully download this app. But yeah, if Multi-user is a fantastic feature because it would be so difficult to make, like, 2 profiles and make sure everything is synced and, like, that it you account for something on one profile, not the other, so let's go through the multi-user feature.
Sure. Yeah. So from the settings screen, just gloss over this real quickly. So this is shows you how to activate the extension, which we talked about before for auto adding your offers, and it also recommends what cards to use on sites as you're shopping. But the in-app filter screen is this one. It's actually got a few other powerful things too, but I'll just show profiles for now and then show a demo in a little bit for these other features. But here, for instance, if I want to add my partner Caroline and then put in, so I'll go ahead and invite her. That's gonna trigger an email, send that to her, and I'm gonna manually just activate that for demo purposes. So basically what that'll do though is email the your P2 that you want to invite into your account, and then all they have to do is click on the link, and then they can activate it through the web or directly through their app just by adding in a code there. And then that will then give your account access to that person's cards and offers in the Card Pointers app. So it doesn't give actual access to like the bank accounts or anything like that. Again, it's just going to be to the Card Pointers data, so those cards and offers there. So, all right, in the database, I just manually approve that as if she had. So I'm going to refresh any of the screens. This one's going to take a little bit longer because she's got a lot of data. She's using Card Pointers a lot, which is great to see. And as soon as that's done, that's actually going to then allow me to select different profiles. So what I can do is from anywhere in the app, there's going to be this new button that's now you can see it's showing Caroline. So if I click on her name, it's going to load up all of P2's offers. So before I had $1,600 in credits and offers, and now it's showing she's got 44,000 in total. So this is going to show like her welcome offer, all of her targeted offers that she's added through the extension and everything else. And I can always another really nice thing is I can switch back and forth between my account and hers, and I can view all of our collective offers, for instance, by clicking on all profiles, and it's going to pull in every single one. If both her and I are always adding all of our offers, and so this way, if we're out at a store together, we can just quickly switch to all profiles, and I could see right away which person has an offer on whatever it is, like a Starbucks purchase or something, and I could save money that way. So it's really that simple.
Is the multi-profile on the pro version or also the free version?
Sorry. So yeah, the multi-user profile is under the Card Pointers Plus. Yeah, sorry. I guess I was bad about explaining that as we were going through. So the basic features, kind of the ones that I originally launched with, and for like the first like year or two, when it was just always free, all those features have continued to be free for everyone. Even if you're a new user now, or if you had created an account back in 2019, you'll have access to the basics, which is adding cards to your Card Pointers accounts, seeing which cards to use for different categories. It'll show the standard credits that you have for your offers. It lets you add offers manually through the extension, but you can't do things like tracking offers, like a tracker wouldn't work. You don't have access to map nearby offers or nearby pointers. Auto add, which is a feature of the extension that lets you add the same offer across multiple cards. That's the Card Pointers Plus feature, adding the same card, the same types of cards. That's also a Card Pointers Plus feature. Basically, all of the new fancy stuff that's going to really help you maximize savings is going to be under the Card Pointers Plus tier.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let's go through the emulator because you kind of alluded to that before, where we've got the Chrome extensions and Safari and all of that. And how does that integrate into the mobile app experience too?
Sure. So let me switch this over. The simulator is a little buggy with some of the bank websites, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so for the Chrome extension, just open up Safari. And then, so a few really neat things about this. One is when you go on, like I said, like Starbucks, it's automatically going to pop up that I've got 4X, for example, on my Amex Gold card. And it shows me all the details right there. So I don't have to think about it if I'm going to make a purchase. I know what card to use without having to open the app, which is really useful. And then the really neat thing is that it'll actually also include that you have credits. So, like for instance, the business platinum that we added, it shows I have a $200 Dell credit. So instead of just using some other credit card and not getting that money, it's telling me that's on my platinum card. I actually have $200 of free credit on Dell, so I can just use that card instead and free money when you're shopping at Dell.com, which is super useful. And then the way you add those offers, you literally, once you activate the extension, you just log in to the bank websites, which is difficult to one to show right now because the simulator is literally crashing on some of the bank sites. So yeah, iOS 18 fun. But on device, it actually works great. And you literally just go to AmericanExpress.com, for instance, you log in with your normal account, and then instantly it's going to ask you to confirm if you want to auto add your offers. And then it will automatically do that for you. And one of the really nice ways to save extra money there is that it'll even work around the Amex limitation of only one offer per card. If you add it with the extension using auto add or the all cards option, it's actually going to add the same offer across multiple eligible cards. So for those really good offers that are like spend $50, get $50 back, you could do that across three, four cards as long as you use the card pointers extension to add them. So that's a great way to get hundreds of dollars in value right away.
Does this include both P1 and P2 cards already loaded into the Chrome extension when you're logged in as, like, that profile? It has both people's offers automatically added?
Yep. So similar to the app, you can do the same type of thing. So you can actually go over to settings and you can choose the different profiles. Here, I got a bit of some dummy data in here, but you can actually switch user profiles right here, just like in the app. And you can choose all profiles. And then as you're browsing across different websites, it's going to pull in every single card and offer across all of the profiles, and it would surface those right there for you too.
Can you remove P2s or change up P2s in case, like,
Yep.
we'll have that situation?
Yep, actually, yeah, someone breaks up or someone's doing it all wrong from that same setting screen I shown you, you can go right there and you can just tap on the user profile and then tap on a delete button and that will remove them. So then, yeah, you won't have access to their cards or offers anymore, and that won't show up anywhere.
For a lot of the different card offers that are a bit weirder, like with American Airlines, if you book through their Advantage portal on and I this is probably like a really weird use case, but like A Advantage hotels, if you have an American Airlines card, it'll give you like way better earnings rates than if you don't. Is that something that Card Pointers even handles? Is like with different cards, you get different offers through different websites, or that's just like very weirdly niche?
I'm trying to think of with AA if that's programmed in. I can just find out, see what happens when we go to AA.com. I don't think we didn't. You said that's only with specific with which card exactly?
I think it could be any of them. I have the American Airlines business card. I also have the World Elite Mastercard. I have both of them. But if you go to Advantage Hotels, like AA Advantage,
Is it
hotel.
hotels.com?
I usually just Google Advantage Hotels.
Okay. So that's programmed in. So yeah, it'll probably show up. If I had added that, if I had that American Airlines card, it would show up there as well because it's showing up as a pre-programmed domain that it recognizes. So I bet it would.
Very cool. Are there other different things that people should know about for the extension features? Because being able to add all of those Amex offers in one click is fantastic. Is this a free version thing or this is a plus version thing?
So yeah, to auto add, that is the plus. That's the paying feature. You can manually add that. So here, for instance, I just logged in to Chase.com. This would be the first time it's showing that it's recognized across all my cards that I have 539 Chase offers. Here, I could just click auto add, and it's going to add all of those offers. But for demo purposes, I'm going to show how you could do so manually as well. So I'm going to click on manually add offers and it instantly pulls up. This is one of my Freedom cards. It shows I have 49 offers on there, and I can just select all offers right there. So this you could do as a free member, but if you want to do the really cool thing, which is adding across all of your cards and across like your P2's cards, since you asked about that, here I'm going to choose the all cards option, and that is a Card Pointers Plus member feature. But here it's showing 115 unique offers, and it's showing how many offers it's been found on. So if I wanted to add, for instance, just the Aldo Shoes card across 9 different cards, I can go ahead and choose just that, and it's going to activate that offer across all 9 cards. Here, it's going to have me relink things because it's all a bunch of dummy data, which I probably shouldn't do because this is actually Kelvin's data. So I'm going to not do that. But normally, if I just clicked OK, it would go ahead and activate those offers across all the cards. And like I said, this is kind of like a magic sweet spot for Amex in particular. This is a great way to get some extra savings. And yeah, that'll work through the all cards or through the auto add option for the extension.
Yeah, those Amex offers are worth so much. I know I've gotten $50 off of $50 on Dell before, which is basically like they just gave me a $50 Dell gift card. And I got some Fitbits that I don't think I've used in a while, but that's neither here nor there. And there's a lot of other good stuff on there as well, with especially for people who do a lot of cash bookings on estate fair tickets, on hotels, because they're trying to get status or something like that. It's a pretty good sweet spot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love those. But that's kind of the main features of the extension. Oh, there's one other really neat thing too that kind of dives into the next section. So if I go to like Whole Foods, for instance, if I didn't have the extension running, what I could just do with iOS 18. So it's got Control Center controls, which is an iOS 18 feature with card pointers 6 supports. So here I can just add show best card, for instance. It's going to ask me to choose like a category. I'm going to choose supermarket. and then it's gonna add this little button right here. And so the neat thing about this, and I can add it for like any category that I want. So if I wanted to add like a gas station one to show the best card to use there, you just choose gas station. And so what this will do now is I can actually just tap on any of these. So from anywhere that I am in the device, I can just swipe down Control Center and just tap on one of these buttons, and it tells me what card to use for those purchases, which is super useful. So you don't have to launch the app, you don't have to do anything else. It's always just kind of a swipe away, which is really useful.
That's just an iPhone thing, right?
It is, yeah, yeah. Android has, I don't know if they have customizable controls in the same way. That's something I'll look into as I'm building out Card Pointer 6 for Android. All the features that I can bring over that have similar functionality, I absolutely do. And in some cases, Android's going to have things that the iOS apps don't have. So it works both ways. Got to make both people jealous, which is sometimes not good. But ultimately, I'm building the best app that I can on every single platform. And all those platforms have some unique differences there. So try to accommodate those for as best I can.
Yeah, I have a Pixel thing. I have not ever had an Apple product, which I guess is weird because people are like, "You've never had any Apple products ever." I don't have anything against Apple or anything. I've just never had an iPhone or an iPad or a Apple laptop or Mac or anything. iPod way back in the day because, we're that old. Yeah, back in the 2000s when iPods were the thing. Never had that. Yeah, I've never had an Apple product. So I was just like, "What is this control center?" I have a Pixel.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, Pixels are awesome. So that's what I got for doing Android development. And I was very anti-Apple, funny enough. I don't know if we ever talked about this, but yeah, actually, I was very anti-Apple because again, when I was growing up and like mid late 80s, Apple was all about using the mouse and not so much the keyboard and keyboard shortcuts. And I hated that for whatever reason. Like when the mouse came out, it was not my thing. And so I was anti-Apple until about the iPod era when that came out, and I got a Mac Mini. Then I started really liking them. So yeah, but kind of gone back and forth too. So I feel you.
When I was studying computer science in college and actuarial science and I had to use Excel, like Excel on a Mac in the whatever year I went to college was a horrifying experience. And so I'm like, yep, PC all the way because the Excel shortcuts just work a lot better. I hear they've made it a lot better now, but yeah, I'm kind of set in my ways.
I think it's still a bit of a subpar experience. So yeah, if you're living life in Excel, then yeah, I think Windows is the way to go.
Yeah. Any other differences or features that we should keep in mind with card pointers depending on like system specific things that you might see in one version but not the other?
Yeah, so there's some other really cool stuff for iOS 18. Card Pointers has extensive support for widgets. Some of these are really cool shortcuts to help make sure you use the right card. I'll just add a few random ones here so you can see kind of like how they work. What's another good one? Yeah, active offers is neat. And then it's also got full support for tinting now, which is new to iOS 18. So if we go to customize and then we choose like a tinted view, you can actually choose like it'll pick up like certain colors. So it'll change quite a bit on how things look. So it'll change the icon, all your icons on your home screen. So card pointers will adapt to that. And then you've got these widgets that are all interactive. So say I got a YouTube TV offer that ends in 4 days. I can just go ahead and redeem that right from the extension and it updates automatically. So again, you don't have to open the app, and you've got interactive widgets, so you can see what card to use for restaurants, drugstores, gas stations. All that stuff's updated automatically. And there's even support on the lock screen, which is super cool. And one of my very favorite features is Autopilot, which I haven't talked about yet, which I know a lot of Android folks want it. Unfortunately, it's not possible because there's no live activities. But the way it works is kind of the culmination of everything I've built over the last 5 years is Autopilot. And so the way it works is it's going to use your location to automatically find the store nearby. I'm just going to allow it. So that senior assistant that we talked about before, it's geolocating me as soon as I press that button. And then it's pulling in the database. So it's checking all the cards and offers and it's telling you your very best card to use at the location closest to you. And you can just leave this running on your lock screen. It'll run for up to 8 hours. And as you're moving around, like say you're shopping, you're going to a grocery store, then you're grabbing a Starbucks and then going somewhere else. As you arrive at each of those places, you can just look on your lock screen and it's going to tell you what card to use based on your best card or offer there. So it's all completely seamless. So to your point, Julia, where you said there's no way you can get your P2 to use card pointers or these kinds of apps, Autopilot, I think honestly is the solution to that because they wouldn't have to think about it. From the lock screen, they can just start Autopilot or just have it run automatically when you leave the house. And automatically on their lock screen, it tells them what card to use. So they don't have to think about it. They just have to follow what Card Pointers tells them to do, and so that's a great way to get those extra savings through your P2.
And that's an iPhone specific thing.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I guess I didn't ask if, yeah, if your husband is using Android or iOS.
Definitely team PC and, like, Chrome and everything Apple there as well, but for everybody who has a P2 who's into Apple products, that's a great feature.
Exactly, yeah. And, yeah, Autopilot, I love it's what I use all the time, and with iOS 18, you can add that right to your lock screen right from there, so you can turn it on and off right from your home screen. Super, super useful. It's got lock screen widgets and a bunch of other things that were released in past years that are very useful, but Autopilot on the lock screen is my favorite thing ever. So, yeah, I hope people will use the heck out of that because it's a really, really great feature. And it just makes it so easy to know what card to use.
Yeah, there are so many more features now than I knew about, and I use this app quite a bit. Part of that might be because I am not team iPhone, but yeah, there's so many different features in here, and I use the Chrome extension too, but always learning something new and really excited to try even more of these features out now and in the future once you launch the Android version. So, thank you again, Emmanuel, for coming onto the show again. Definitely gotten built out so much more in the last 3 years or however long we've been doing this podcast. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for building this, for having a free version, and for just building out more and more features for everybody because this is super exciting and I hope a lot more people will try out card pointers after this demo.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, like you said, it has grown a ton. I tried to keep it approachable still for beginners, but there are a lot of advanced features, and hopefully, it's the kind of thing you grow into. Try out some things. What I always kind of encourage people for like any kind of app is things that you think might work a certain way. Try it out, and you'll probably find like some hidden integrations, like swipe gestures and context menus, and that applies to Android as well. There are a lot of kind of like hidden features for like pros. So as you grow with the app, you'll discover more and more features as you use it too. So it's always hard to strike that balance for beginners and pros, but something I always keep iterating on every year. So, and I always appreciate feedback. One thing we didn't talk about is it's still just me doing everything. So, when someone, I'm doing the programming, marketing, going on podcasts, and answering support emails. So, if anyone ever has any questions and they email support@cardpointers.com, it's going to be me answering. And I love that one to one connection with users. It's helped grow and evolve the app a lot over the years as well. So, very, very thankful for everyone who's used the app, who's asked questions, who's shared product ideas. It's helped grow the business and the app a ton. So very appreciative of that. And thank you so much, Julia, for having me on again and for using the app and the extension for so long. That means a lot to me.
Where can people find you? Is the best way just support at cardpointers.com or what's the best way if people have any other questions for you?
Yeah, if there are questions specifically, that's the best way to reach me. I built a lot of tooling around that to help me answer things efficiently. In most cases, I think people will find I tend to reply to emails within a few minutes if I'm awake. I try to get through support queues and stuff really quickly that way. If it's a more complicated problem, it takes a bit longer. But yeah, otherwise, Card Pointers itself, you can download from the App Store or the Play Store or the Chrome Web Store. Add Card Pointers on all the social media platforms. But for direct questions and feedback and stuff, yeah, the support email is the best way to go.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again for coming onto the show.
Thank you, Julia. Appreciate it.